What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers yesterday pulled off an ugly win. It was not a great win by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a win. And never really going to complain about a win. Obviously, there's good wins, and there's, great wins. And then there's like you squeeze this out. This was we're going to squeeze this out win, right? This was a game that should have been a loss that the Lakers ended up pulling out as a win. But these kind of games, these ugly, hard fought, just back and forth. Because that game was ridiculous, right? That game was an excellent game. Just real back and forth. Just one of the better games I've seen, period, in a long time. Not even just because the Lakers won. It was just a very good, hard fought basketball game. And those are the kind of games you want to see, right? Just like, obviously the Laker fan of me was like, come on, stressing out. Laker fan of me was just like ready to just run my head through a wall, right? But like the basketball fan of me was really genuinely, I was like, this is just such a good game. I was even like telling my girl, I was like, dude, I wish you were watching this game with me right now. But she was like, getting things organized and stuff. So, but the reason I wanted to talk about how good the game was is because it's very important, particularly come playoffs, right? Playoffs are right around the corner. And Lakers have done a very good job this year of closing out and handling tight, hard-fought wins. Those rock fight type games. The Lakers have done a very good job this year of being the team that comes out ahead. And the reason that brings me excitement is because that's what the playoffs are. Right? The playoffs, more often than not, are those rock fight type games. You might get that random blowout or that random here or there game, but for the most part, especially once you start getting the later rounds, it's games decided by a couple buckets, games decided by, a turnover or, a missed assignment or whatever, right? And it's how can you overcome those? How do you make those adjustments? How do you, learn from being in those moments? You need those challenges, right? Like you've seen teams that they run through everybody, and then as soon as they face that adversity, they collapse. Right? It was one of the things that I wanted to see from Boston last year. Right? Like you didn't really get to see any adversity from Boston. They just kind of ran through everybody. Now look, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, it doesn't count, or they had the easiest run. Look, Boston's job is to show up and play basketball and win the game. Whoever is in front of them, whatever players are in front of them, whatever, that's not up to them. Their job is to show up and dominate. What did they do? They showed up and they dominated. It's not their fault that no one was able to be competitive, right? Like they were supposed to make those games uncompetitive, and they did. But I really wanted to see, because Boston's trouble the last few years was whenever they ran into some adversity, they just crumbled, right? Like the Warriors series. They should have been up 3-1, and they just crumble, right? Like you see against Miami, like every year, right? And so it's those type of things that more often than not, you're not just going to coast to a championship, right? More often than not, you're going to have these hard fought, just brutal games, right? And you saw the Lakers really be able to dig out that game against the Knicks. And they've had a couple games like that this year. They've had a couple just like ugly win games that they, were maybe losing most of the time, or they blew a lead and then got it back or whatever, right? Like there was the ugly games, period. But this Knicks game in particular felt like a playoff game. It felt like a game that the Knicks were desperately trying to win, that they wanted to win, that they needed to win, right? Lakers had some just bad stretches, some bad moments, right? And guys stepped up, right? Because for the most part, it was Luka and LeBron. It was the Luka and LeBron show, and then a couple people trickling in here and there. They only had 2 other guys in double figures, right? Like Reeves laid a dud, which, again, look, I'm one of the first people to criticize Austin Reeves. He just got back from injury, right? We got to be fair with him. I do wish he would have been a little more aggressive, but he's been great the last 20 games, right? Again, I'm somebody that my biggest criticism of Austin Reeves has just been his inconsistencies. And for a good majority of the early part of the season, he was very inconsistent, but he's fixed a lot of that. He's been very good this last 20 games or so. So I'll give him the pass on that, right? But you had this game where no Rui, Reeves is just got back, so he's struggling. Guys aren't hitting shots. It's looking like a mess. And this is a game that on several occasions looked like it was about to be a wrap. And on several occasions looked like the Lakers were about to get ran through. And they stuck in it. They stayed in the clinch and they just kept, taking the hits and whatnot. And ultimately were able to go on that run. And you saw a guy like Dalton Connect hit that huge momentum three right at the buzzer, right? I mean, that changed a lot because it was just that momentum. LeBron hit a huge momentum shifting three that ended up cutting it to one, and then we ended up scoring, and then it just became this back and forth game after that. But Gabe Vincent, right? Gabe, he better have gotten that game ball, right? Gabe Vincent better have been holding that game ball at the end. Because he hit big shot after big shot after big shot. Just the clutch. I mean, that was Miami Gabe, right? Guy not afraid of the moment, guy that could hit the big shots, not afraid to hit the big shots, none of it. And that's the thing. Like, who are those guys that step up, right? And the beauty of the Lakers, particularly this year, is we've seen it's different guys based on different scenarios, right? Like, we've had games where Reeves is that guy. We've had games where Rui's that guy. We've had games where Dorian Finney-Smith has hit some big threes. Gabe Vincent, Dalton Connect, so on and so forth. That's what makes the Lakers, in my opinion, so lethal come playoff time. Obviously, you got LeBron James. You got Luka. But it's the other guys, right? Lakers have so many guys that on any given night can just, boom, be that guy that night. And that's very beneficial because it's hard to game plan for that. Because you're going to game plan for LeBron, you're going to game plan for Luka to the best of your ability, of course. I mean, it's LeBron and Luka. But how do you game plan for Gabe Vincent coming off the bench and giving you 18? Right? How do you game plan for Dalton Connect going off and giving you 30? Right? Like, how do you game plan for, there's just certain things, certain elements. And we've seen the Lakers do a really good job of just executing, which also goes into coaching, right? Making those adjustments, making those changes. For example, going with Gabe over Austin Reeves, right? Most coaches, they go with their guys, right? Austin Reeves, he's one of their guys. And he said, you know what? Hey, Reeves, you don't got it tonight. He did put him in the overtime, but Austin Reeves ended up hitting one of the biggest shots of the game in overtime, right? So, even that turned out to be a good choice. But, once you get to the playoffs, it's what this becomes about. Those hard fought, just rock fight, back and forth, toe-to-toe games. Who has more guys step up? Who's better at making the adjustments? Which guys hit the big shots? So on and so forth. Things like that. And we've seen the Lakers really do a good job of that, of being the team that executes and does what they need to do down the stretch. And it helps to have guys like LeBron, right? It helps to have guys like Luka that aren't afraid of them. I mean, Luka, set the tone in overtime, hitting those 5 straight points, right? And just kind of really, was able to kind of be the catalyst to kind of get us going, right? And then, you saw LeBron hit some big shots and like I said, Reeves hit a big 3 and you got, Gabe and all that. And it's just like guy after guy after guy after guy stepping up to be that guy on any given night. It's very valuable. Because once you get to the playoffs, right, Lakers have some holes. They have some clear and blatant holes. But how well can you mask those holes, one? And two, how well can you maximize your strengths, which is, a team game, team effort, team defense, team rebounding, right? We're going to win on the back of the team. Right? Luka and LeBron, they're going to have their games, right? They're going to have, that game where Luka just wins you. Yeah. Like Luka dropped 50, right? You're going to have those games where LeBron just wins you a game. You're going to have those games, of course, but most of the games, and you've even seen it thus far, most of the games have been the team coming together. Obviously, LeBron and Luka are doing their thing, but you have, again, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. I mean, how many times have we talked in the last few weeks, last few months even, where it's like, man, we had like 7 guys in double figures, right? 30 assists, this, that, and that, right? Team rebound. We held out rebound. Defense has been great. I mean, Lakers have been the best defensive team for like 2.5 months now. It's not like it's not a small set. Like literally half the season at this point. They've been the last 30% of the season. They've been the best team. Last like 40%, they've been the best defense, right? Their top offense. So this is a contending team. But that game yesterday was a beautiful game because it really kind of established what you're going to see come playoff time. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? I feel what your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. Were you impressed with that game? It was just a really good game, right? Like however you feel about the win or not, like that was just a really good basketball game. But I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.